book scholars, this is the way. Hey, we start our day. Hey, we got the knowledge. Oh, to go to college. Hey, but don't stop there. No, go anywhere. Hey, this is the way. Hey, we start our day. Hey, I said, hey, broke scholars, was a party at? Right here in these books. I said, hey, broke scholars, what time is it? Time to motivate you. Good morning, book scholars, and welcome to Wednesday Word Study. Simba is officially cleaned and dried, and he is ready to get back to remote learning with you, and he missed you. He missed you guys a lot. And I hope you guys are continuing to send all of those positive thoughts and vibes and everything into the universe because we all need it right now. So let's get started right away. We're going to start with simple predicate and simple subject. Remember, we're going to set up our slate with S dot S dot S dot P dot. Now, since it is Wednesday and we have been going over simple subject and simple predicate for a while now, I'm not going to go over what they are I'm not going to go over what they are in this video because I want you to challenge yourself to think about that. And when I post a sentence and I read it twice, and then you read it the third time, I want you to be thinking about that little rule that we're supposed to follow and really thinking about what is a simple subject and what is a simple predicate. Once we figure that out, I will then go over it and I hope you put in your best work. So, today's sentence is, the frog played with the toad even though they didn't look the same. The frog played with the toad even though they didn't look the same. You're going to read it a third time and you're going to ask yourself, what is the simple predicate? And then who or what is doing that simple predicate? Go. Alrighty, friends, I have figured out the simple predicate and then figured out the simple subject, so hopefully you have figured it out by now. If not, it is okay. By all means, pause the video, and when you're ready to go over it with me, press play. So if you wrote that the simple predicate, the verb or the action is played, I said, give your brain a kiss. Mwah. Really, 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 really great job. And then if you thought to yourself, who or what is doing this action? And you said, frog. I said, give your brain a kiss. Mwah. Frog is the noun or the simple subject that is doing this verb or action. So hopefully you did a really good job on that. We're going to go into more grammar. And today we're going to read a new passage. And we're going to be looking for all of the verbs in the sentence. I'm sorry, in the passage, all of the verbs. So let's set up our slate or our paper by writing down verbs. And let's do 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the goal is to always find at least 4 or more verbs. That means you're really taking your time and thinking through each sentence and asking yourself, is there a verb in the sentence? So let's go over the types of verbs that we know. We know about being verbs, and we know about action verbs. I will list the being verbs when it is time for you to find the verbs in the passage. And we all know what an action verb is. It is a action. It's an action that the noun or a noun is doing or nouns are doing. So I'm going to read the passage And I want you to be listening carefully. Ask yourself, are there any being verbs or action verbs in this passage? During World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen, a group of black pilots, were treated unfairly because of laws that separated people because of skin color. Even though the men were treated unfairly, they were part of the most successful pilot groups in the Army, and their legacy is still celebrated today. They showed determination and never gave up on what they believed in. I want you to find all of the verbs, whether they're being verbs or action verbs, sentence by sentence. Take your time. Go. Alrighty, friends, I am done finding all of the nouns in this passage. If you are not done, it is a-okay. Please feel free to pause the video, and when you're ready, press play, and we can go over it together. So Ms. Vargas found 3, 6, 9, 10 verbs. Hopefully you found a bunch of verbs. There were a ton of being verbs in this passage and a few action verbs. And we're going to go over them right now. Okay, during World War II, the Tuskegee men, a group of black pilots, were, it's a being verb, treated. To treat someone a certain way, when you treat someone, that's the action that you're doing. You're treating them a certain way. Unfairly, because of the laws that separated. To separate people or to separate things or to separate candy, that is an action because of skin color. Even though their men were treated, being verb, action verb, unfairly, they were, another being verb, part of one of the most successful pilot groups in the Army. And that legacy is, being verb, still celebrated today. They showed. When you show someone something, that is an action. Determination. So when you show or express happiness or determination or frustration, that is an action. So they showed determination and never gave up on what they believed in. To believe is an action that you're doing. Even though you're doing it in your brain, it's still an action. Just like when we think, you don't see me thinking, but you know you're thinking, therefore it's an action. So hopefully you guys found a ton of these verbs. And again, if you ever have trouble finding more than like this one had 10, so if you didn't find at least 4 to 5, feel free to contact your homeroom teacher to get more work or more help on grammar and how you can find strategies to find certain parts of grammar in a passage or in a sentence. Next up, we have dictation. I'm going to say the sentence twice, and you're going to say it the third time with me. You are going to say it the third time with me, and then you're going to be thinking about those writing habits as you're writing your sentence. Really think about it. We've gone over it this week. I'm not going to tell you just yet what they are because I want you to always, by yourself, without me having to tell you, without anyone having to tell you, ask yourself, if I'm writing a sentence, what should I be doing? What are my writing habits? Really get into that habit of doing it yourself. And you guys have been doing an amazing job. Shout out to Gabriel. I know I've been saying this a few times, but he is definitely one of many friends. A lot of friends are doing that, thinking about their writing habits before they write their sentence. So let's get straight into it. Today's sentence is, Jessica jumped for joy when she heard Obama's speech. Jessica jumped for joy when she heard Obama's speech. All together, Jessica jumped for joy when she heard Obama's speech. 9. Go. Jessica. George. Speech. I'm done, so I'm going to go over my writing habits. Hopefully you do too. Alrighty, friends, I am done. If you are not done writing a sentence because you're taking your time and thinking about your writing habits, by all means, continue doing that. Pause the video, and when you press play, we can go over it together. So if you wrote, Jessica jumped for joy when she heard Obama's speech, I said I'll give your brain a kiss. Mwah. You were listening carefully and got all 9 words down. Now let's go over our writing habits. Did you start your sentence with a capital? If you started with a capital J, because Jessica is the first word in the sentence, great job. Jessica is also a name, so the J in Jessica should have been capitalized. Did you end with a punctuation mark? If you ended with an exclamation point because I said it or you said it in an exciting voice, great job. If you ended with a period because you said it in a more calm tone, no big deal. Exclamation point or period, awesome. Now, if you ended with a question mark, that is not correct. I'm not asking you a question. I'm not saying who, what, when, where, why, how, did. This is a statement. I'm simply saying that Jessica jumped for joy when she heard Obama's speech. All right, let's go over every word. J, j, s, Jessica. Typically, this is how a lot of people spell Jessica, but if you spelled it with just one S, Jessica with maybe one S or a K, no big deal. Phonetically, the way it sounds, you stretched it out and you did an amazing job stretching that out and thinking about the sounds in the word. Jumped. Jump. jump, jump. And then I know ed says t or d, so jump. For is a hard word, F-O-R, for. Joy, j, j, j. Oi, oi. Oy says oi, like in toy. But if you wrote j, oi, like oi, because oi also says joy, phonetically the way it sounds, you wrote it is right. But I've seen the word joy around a lot. And when I look at these two, I know that Joy looks right and sounds right. When is a hard word, W-H-E, when. I'm sorry, W-H-E-N, when. She is a hard word, S-H-E, she. Heard is not a hard word, something you should have stretched out. D, heard. Or you could have written er says d. But when I look at these two, even though this one sounds right, I know that this one sounds right and looks right. Obamas. O b a a ob a m Obama Obamas Obamas. Names are tricky, so if you didn't spell this one exactly like this, it's no big deal. Honestly, names are tricky. My first name is Noelle, and I have an H in it. Noelle doesn't say the sound, so don't worry about names. But I know how to spell Obama's name because I've seen him in books that I've read. I've seen him in the news, and Obama is spelled O-B-A-M-A apostrophe S. Don't worry about the apostrophe. That's something you'll learn a little later. Speech. E says E, speech, speech. Definitely one you could have stretched out. So hopefully you did an amazing job on that. Per usual, if you need more tips or more practice on how to spell tricky words, reach out to your homeroom teacher, or if you're finding yourself making the same mistakes, especially in writing, make sure you're stopping and thinking about your writing habits before you even get into writing your sentence. Or let's say you wrote your sentence, go back and then ask yourself those questions. Either or could work for you. Thank you for joining me today on this lovely Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.